Chapter 1. Simching and Her Father. Once upon a time, in a quiet village in Korea, there lived a kind and gentle girl named Simching. She was known by everyone in the village for her bright smile and warm heart. Simching was not only hardworking but also very caring, especially toward her father. Her father had been blind for many years. It was a sad thing that happened long ago, and since then, their life had become very difficult. Because of his blindness, her father could no longer work in the fields or take care of the family. This made their days full of struggles and worries. Even though life was hard, Simching never gave up hope. Every morning, she helped her father get ready and guided him carefully around their small house. She cooked, cleaned, and did all the chores with great patience. At night, she would sit by his side and tell him stories to make him smile. Simching loved her father more than anything in the world. She wished she could do something to help him see again. She often dreamed about a miracle that would bring back his sight and make their lives full of light and happiness. No matter how poor they were, Simching's heart was full of love and hope. She believed that one day, everything would change for the better. Chapter 2. The Rice Offer and Simching's Decision. One day, news spread through the village about a wealthy man who was looking for someone to offer him 300 sacks of rice. The man promised a great reward to anyone who could fulfill this request. Simching heard this news and her heart began to race. She thought, if I could find 300 sacks of rice and give them to this man, maybe my father's blindness could be cured. But Simching knew they did not have even 1 sack of rice. Despite this, she did not lose hope. She was willing to do anything to help her father. After thinking carefully, she made a brave decision. I will sacrifice myself to save my father, she said softly. If I can give myself as a gift to the sea gods, they may reward us with the rice we need. Simching explained her plan to her father. At first, he was shocked and tried to stop her. But seeing her strong love and determination, he could only pray for her safety. With a heavy heart but a brave spirit, Simching prepared to carry out her sacrifice. She was ready to face the unknown to save her beloved father. Chapter 3. Simching's Sacrifice. The day of Simching's sacrifice arrived. The sky was gray, and the wind blew softly over the sea. A ship was waiting at the harbor, prepared to carry her to the place of offering. The sailors looked at her with sadness in their eyes, for they knew she was too young and kind to face such a fate. Simching wore a simple white dress. She stood quietly, her hands folded in front of her, her eyes full of calm and courage. Though her heart ached with fear, her love for her father gave her strength. As the ship sailed into the deep sea, the waves grew higher and stronger. The sailors performed a ritual and lit candles to honor the sea gods. They believed the sea gods would grant blessings in return for a pure and noble sacrifice. When the ship reached the center of the sea, the sailors turned to Simching. It was time. Without hesitation, Simching stepped forward. She whispered a prayer for her father. Please, let him see again. Let him live in peace. Then, with one final breath, she jumped into the dark, cold water. The waves closed over her, and the sea grew still. Everyone on the ship bowed their heads in silence. No one spoke a word, but in their hearts, they knew they had witnessed something truly sacred. What they didn't know was that Simching's story was not over. Beneath the surface of the sea, something extraordinary was about to happen. Chapter 4: Life in the Sea Kingdom. As Simching sank deeper into the ocean, everything around her turned dark and cold. She closed her eyes, thinking her journey had come to an end. But suddenly, a warm light surrounded her. Gentle hands lifted her from the water, and she felt herself floating, not sinking. When she opened her eyes, she found herself in a strange and beautiful place. The water sparkled like crystal, and colorful fish swam all around her. Simching had entered the Sea Kingdom. The sea gods had seen her pure heart and her great sacrifice. They were deeply moved by her love and devotion to her father. So instead of letting her die, they welcomed her into their kingdom and treated her like royalty. The Sea King himself greeted her with kindness. "You are no ordinary girl," he said. "You have shown the highest form of love. From now on, you shall live here as a princess." Simching was given fine clothes made of pearls and silk. She lived in a beautiful palace made of coral and seashells. Every day, she walked through underwater gardens filled with glowing plants and gentle sea creatures. At first, Simching missed her father deeply, but as time passed, she found peace in the kindness of the sea people. They told her that one day she would return to the world above, and that her story was not yet finished. Simching didn't know how or when she would return, but she kept hope in her heart. Chapter 5: Reunion and Miracle. One day, the Sea King called Simching to his throne. "The time has come," he said. "You must return to the human world. There is still more waiting for you." Before she could ask how, the sea gods placed her gently inside a giant lotus flower. The flower rose slowly through the sea, floated to the surface, and drifted toward land. The next morning, the lotus flower arrived at the palace garden of the human king. The flower was so large and beautiful that the royal servants rushed to inform the king. Curious, the king ordered the lotus to be opened. When it bloomed, everyone gasped in awe, for inside was a young woman, sleeping peacefully. Simching slowly opened her eyes. The king was amazed by her beauty and grace. He spoke with her and was deeply touched by her story. Moved by her heart and spirit, he asked her to become his queen. Though surprised, Simching accepted with humility. Now, she was no longer just a village girl. She was the queen of the land. Sometime later, Simching arranged a special feast for blind people across the kingdom. She wanted to honor her past and hoped that, among the guests, she might find her father again. On the day of the feast, many blind beggars came to the palace. Among them was one old man who looked lost and tired. As he was led toward the queen, Simching's heart began to beat faster. She looked closely. "Father," she whispered. The old man raised his head. Though he could not see her, he recognized her voice. "My daughter, is it truly you?" At that moment, a miracle happened. Tears filled his eyes, and slowly, light returned to them. He could see again. Father and daughter held each other, crying with joy. They had both suffered so much, but their love had never faded. Now they were together again, safe, happy, and full of hope. From that day on, Simching and her father lived in peace. Their story became known throughout the land as a tale of deep love, sacrifice, and the power of devotion.